Hey, welcome back. This is part two of finding the beginning your search to find your family, to anchor your nation, and to restore your people to their rightful place. Okay, so I left off talking about family search and talking about the promises that the colonizers made with our ancestors. Their ancestors, the colonizers, made promises that they would preserve our records, right? Now, we don't know this, but this is true. They made promises that they would preserve our records. And so you see our records. You see us everywhere. They could have, just wiped out every record of us, but they did not. They do have our records. Our records are available to us when we ask. And sometimes when we don't ask. But that was the promise that their ancestors made. And see, this is what happens when you conquer a people. You capture them, okay? You capture them, you take them as prisoners of war, aka slavery. You take them as prisoners of war, but you make certain promises, which is, okay, the elders may say, okay, we understand, we surrender, we know we're outgunned, outmatched, or whatever, but here is my concession with my surrender, is that you will preserve my people's history. Right? So basically that's what happened, and that's what they do. They have to preserve our history. And if you look for our history, when you start looking and when you start asking for it, you'll find it. It's in libraries, and in the Library of Congress, and all these different libraries, all these different museums. You see our actual selves, what we look like when the colonizers came, because they're the ones who wrote stories, books about what we looked like. They drew pictures, they sent them back, they took representatives of the American Indians, the copper-colored American Indians, and took them back to their royalty and all of that other stuff. So they made a promise that they would maintain our history, that they would keep our history. That's one thing about colonizers you can bet on. They're gonna keep the history. That I'm not talking about the crazy ones that burn down, record centers or whatever, but our history is still available to find. So that's why I said don't feel bad about not becoming Mormon. Don't even talk about the whole God thing. If I were you, I wouldn't do it. Because we trying to get away from everybody else's ancestral deities and get into our own selves. Because again, supernatural people, we don't need no God. So you have talked to your elders. You have gotten a copy of the family Bible or the family Bible itself. You've gotten a copy of the family photo album or the family album itself. You have signed up on FamilySearch.org, which is run by and sponsored by the Mormon Church, paid for by the Mormon Church. You don't have to pay any money for that. You have got in touch with a family historian at the Mormon Church or at the library, a family historian, a genealogist there that can help you start finding your family. Okay? Now your search begins. Okay? So the first thing I want you to know is don't feel defeated or frustrated if you can't immediately find your whole family tree. Right? Because I have an ancestor. It's my father's mother. Right? My father's mother must have been a fucking chameleon or a criminal, because she had so many damn names, or she was married a whole bunch of times or whatever. I don't know what was going on with her, but I found so many different last names for her, because our people, we may not have traditionally married, but it was, kind of like what the common law thing is. Some of us were married like that. So, or we just met people and we start using their name, you know what I mean? So, I say, damn, was she loose or what? I don't want to get real nasty, but I was like, damn, how many names did she have? So we found like 7 different names for my grandmother, but we could not find, records that that backed up all of those names, marriage records, death records, all of that stuff. So it was really, really difficult to find her. I thought at that time, I was like, damn, do I have to go to the slave records? But no, it wasn't that. It was that she just had a whole bunch of names, so I had to keep on going, keep on going. What a good thing about her being my grandmother is I could ask for her birth certificate because I didn't know where she was born. So because my people are from Louisiana, most of my people are from Louisiana. I mean, I think the Louisiana generations are like 5 or 6. And remember, I'm 54. So I think we got about 5 or 6 generations in Louisiana. Maybe more, because again, Louisiana used to be a French colony. So before they even started keeping records on the American side, it was a French colony. So there are probably records with French, and we probably, because my people are Bayou Indian French and Cherokee. So so there are probably records on the French side. And I'll find those because I was able to click into that line, and it goes way, way back, way back. There are also Canadian records. If your people are from I think, and I'm not sure, talk to somebody that knows a lot more about the maps and the way the maps work than I do, like Phoenix Moon, Chief Hatha, Nasoba, the group African Americans Ain't African. They usually post maps and old maps of what everything was. So get into those contacts. Tasha Xi, she has a lot of information about history. Talk to I think it's copper colored Americans or copper colored Indigenous or something like that. But just get into start looking in these groups, and so find these records. So I think that Georgia was actually a part of Canada before Canada was actually a part of what they call the United States, right? So I even have chiefs, Canadian chiefs in my family line. I have French in my family line, Canadian chiefs. I have, oh man, it goes all the way back. And I was able to find this not on my own, because I did hire or commission a couple of genealogists to help me, but they only helped me so far. But the one who took me all the way back and clued me into the records was a Mormon. He was a Mormon high priest. He helped me find my family. And that's what they promised to do, right? So really, really take advantage of the help. Now, the other thing is that if you are coming up against, something and you don't understand it, or you're having trouble, you can leave me a comment. Now, get this. All right. I'm a chief. I'm a chief of my people. And because of that, I'm a servant of my people, right? First, my bloodline, and then my other copper-colored Indigenous American people. Now, if you want me to do your work for you, you can forget that. I don't have time for that. And I'm not playing games with you like that. If you genuinely want my help to get you started, I've given you information to get you started. I've told you what you need to do. But if if you're kind of confused about it or whatever, leave me a comment. I will get back with you. But do not expect me to do your work because I had to do my own, right? Because part of the journey is doing it yourself, finding your people, anchoring your people into their tribe, right? Restoring your bloodlines. This is your job. I appoint you. This is your job. You are either your chief or the family historian of your family. Okay? This is your job. So if you have some questions or problems, not to debate me, because I'm not going to debate with you, because I'm a master at what I'm doing, right? And I've achieved a certain level of understanding about the truths that I know, right? And so I'm not going to waste my time debating you, because if you're debating me about the information that I present, it's because you haven't found your own truth yet, right? So go on with that. I'm not here to do that. So if you genuinely want my help, then leave a comment and I will see the comment. I'm not telling you I'm gonna do it tomorrow, or right that minute. I may, But it depends. But I will get back with you and try to help get you started so that you can start finding your family, because there's a lot of little tricks and stuff that I've learned just by doing my own, and I'm not opposed to sharing that information. But again, I'm not going to do your work for you. I hired genealogists, and the genealogists that I hired, while they didn't find the information, really, they didn't find that much information, but what they did is they put me on a path to doing this for myself, for my own family, right? For my own bloodline. They put me on a path to doing it. So they were my teachers in a certain way. So I'm not mad at anybody or upset with anybody that they didn't find anything, because this is my job, as it is yours now. It's your job, find your people. Now, here's the thing about finding your tribe that I really want to talk to you about, how to find your tribe. Okay, so there are some other organizations that are just guessing at your tribe. Okay, so they say just make it up. Make up a name, right? Okay, so I'm not saying that I'm opposed to that. I'm not saying that that's a problem. But what I am saying is that if you are trying to connect with your ancestors, then you need to connect with your ancestors, right? So the way I did it, and I did have help from a chief. Chief Hatha Nasoba helped me with mine. But there is a way to do it. It looks like my battery about to go dead, and I don't have my charger. So hopefully we can make this out. There is a way to do it in which what you do is you find the largest concentration of your family members being from one particular place. For me, my family's from Louisiana, so they are parishes, right? And I started to notice that the majority of my family kind of rotated between two parishes. All of them. And so that helped me when I started looking for my people. If that were in that particular parish, I was like, oh yeah, that's probably my family. Now, once you start finding that your family members are all in these same little concentrated areas, start looking at the tribes in those areas. So if you can find the tribes that were in those areas, because their tribes click, right? Even though Cherokee and Choctaw might have been in the same general region, they had their own little pockets, right? And that's where your family was. So when you find these little pockets, you look up what was the Indian tribe that was there. And more than likely that was your people. But before you decide that was your people, sit down, close your eyes, go into meditation, and talk to your ancestors and say, is this us? And if they say yes, then claim your people. Whatever tribe, my tribe is the Nasoba Cherokee Nation, right? It's an extinct tribe, or thought to be an extinct tribe, because we're still here. So that's my people. But find your people. Find extinct tribes that were in the area, the biggest concentration of where your people were. And ask your ancestors, is this my tribe, right? And if it is your tribe, claim them as your tribe. And you want to anchor your people in. This is a ritual that you need to do to anchor your bloodline to that tribe, because that's your process to restoration, right? So do that. Okay, I've given you a lot of information to start with. I know my phone is getting ready to go out, so I may do another part to this video. But again, if you have questions, if you have some things you need help with, you can ask me, but don't ask me the same stupid ass questions because you haven't done your research. Don't ask me, if your people would know. Ask me questions that's going to help you on your search, your research, right? Don't ask me no stupid ass questions about, what. No, I don't want to hear that. I don't have time for it, because I am a servant of my bloodline. I work for my people, right? And you need to work for yours. Happy hunting.